Yuan Tong Ling Ming. That's better. I would like to share a little bit of magic from the Chi field today with you in the beginning. And then the interesting part is that the audio didn't work right now, so you did not hear the song. I can hear someone's microphone. Hello, please turn it off. Please mute yourself. Thank you. So you will get the song before class in the email about the recording afterwards. Today we've been listening, or actually it seems that I only have been listening to Brett Eldridge, Where the Heart Is. And there's a bit of a story to that today. The topic today is obviously love is kryptonite to the false self. So love is one of the Wuxin, one of the 5 essential heart qualities, and obviously the ultimate replacement information for any unhealthy pattern. If we can make it back to the state of love, we are interrupting whatever pattern of the unhealthy ones was active. So for love, there is, of course, many songs. I would say millions of songs, movies, poems, books, stories. I guess it is all about love, isn't it? I had a bit of difficulty today to find a song because there were so many. But I wanted one in some ways that fitted from the lyrics as well. And it's the first time I had a bit of, I would say trouble is not the word. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. Yeah. Like this, I'm looking into the camera, I feel. Before it was too much like this, and I was looking like this, and I couldn't connect with you. Now it's better. So there were so many songs, and I was looking for lyrics that fitted to our topics today, which is love as being the kryptonite for the false self and unhealthy patterns, but also to the nature of the little bit of information that's been building for this week and that we have started quite a while ago, which is the 10 fundamental qualities of human nature. And I have, as I have promised, I have made up a little document with those, for those of you who are interested. I will put it into the email that I will send out after class with the recordings. By the way, thank you for the many responses to last classes, and I hear the last 2 classes were especially nice, and many people are listening to them a few times throughout the week. And helping you to get into a deeper state. So that's wonderful to hear, and I'm so very happy that it helps you to get into a deeper state. So the recording seemed to work just as well. Life is always a bit of a difference, of course. Have you actually ever thought why? It is not really the chi field. The chi field is alive, active, and accessible for you and all of us whenever we put our awareness onto it, our presence, our consciousness into this, our consciousness with the chi field. But when we are sitting live together, this is usually more easy for humans to connect, for us humans to connect with something. There's the strong influence of the mind and the separation of time and space that the mind creates is doing something to our presence when something is happening in our mind in this moment at the same time. So it deepens our connection with the information and with the present moment. This is probably not easy to understand unless you have experienced a deep unified state. So I guess the job of Ren as a system is to help us attain those deeper unified states. Then we will easier understand how we can access a chi field that in the mind might have been yesterday or last week, but how the information is present all the time in the chi field. The information is present in the here. It was present yesterday, and it's present from what will be tomorrow as well, actually. So we can pick up on information depending on how, let's say, sensitive one is towards information, which this sensitivity we can increase as well with the work we do in Renshu. So the other topic about the 10 fundamental, or the second topic today is the 10 fundamental qualities of human nature. And today we are going to look at the point 3 and 4, which is social nature and nature beyond instinct. So, needs beyond instinct. Needs beyond the physical level. This is a really big topic, and we'll see how it goes. We'll probably be working on that, working with it, being with it a few times, because it depends a bit on you as well and what your consciousness picks up on or wants to go deeper in, or maybe wants to dwell in and work a bit more with. So we'll see if there's any feedback coming the next few days or weeks, and then we'll see. Because actually it's pretty straightforward once you've seen it. I will put it in a moment onto a photo, onto a slide, and remember, you will get the whole document as a handout as a link you can download from my Drive box. It is copyright Janse. Janse has authored it, so just for you to know. But that's fine. He wants us to use it all for growing and learning. Just respect it if you give it forth, respect and honor him. So just to close the loop, which I seem to have taken a little direction or digression again, I wanted the song to fit not only the topic love, because I didn't want it to focus too much on the romanticized love or the aspect of romance between two lovers. I wanted, I looked for something that fitted that topic of social nature today and the needs beyond the instinct. So I could not find one. There are many, many options about love. And of course, I guess it also happens because love can be found within everything. Yes. So I found songs about dogs. I found songs about, of course, partners and lovers. I found songs about the beauty of the world, about the beauty of nature, about the beauty of connection. It was really amazing. And then just songs that just put you into the state of love, but had lyric wise not much to do with the topic today. And so after 2 hours, me being, listening to music and actually knowing them very well. So I came up with 3 or 4 options and then, but my heart never said, that's the one for today. That's quite funky for me because it was, until now I was, that's the one for today. That's wonderful. It just merged with the G field. And my heart and the information of the class is what I mean with merging with the G field. And so I decided to pick one that is very special to me, and not very well-known musician, very artsy and very bluesy and a lot of funk. So not everybody's cup of tea, but an acoustic piece and beautiful. But the lyrics, he is a poet, and the lyrics, they were, that's just really like Shakespeare. It doesn't seem to fit together right away. And I thought, okay, but I love this song since many years. And so this is how I can at least feel the strongest sense of love. Yeah, so this is what I do when I pick a song for us while I talk about this, is just to help you as well in your life to keep checking in with your heart no matter what you do. If your heart responds to you, if your heart, is active, is alive with you, and just gives you the feeling of, yep, that's it. Yes. And then, so I did put that in. I put it in the email. I prepared the link. I organized all of that, and I was done. And then in that moment, like half an hour before class begin, I got a message, a beautiful message, and that this person would be joining live today. And next text was a song, believe it or not. I haven't responded anything yet, but that's the magic of the G field. So I was there and I was happy with the song because I love it so much. I couldn't find what I was looking for. And there comes the suggestion for a song. First time since we're doing Yuan Ming Free Flow. And so I was like, okay, I gotta listen to this song. And I listened to the song and it was exactly what I've been looking for. And so now I've been playing it to you, but you didn't hear it because Obviously, I was enjoying it too much and forgot to put on the audio there. Anyway, I told you the name and the artist, and the link is in the email, and you can listen to it afterwards. And it fits because he sings about thinking to find love in you, but what is love for and what it is about and what are we living for anyway. And that was just amazing because today when we look at social structures and how we are human beings and we need connections because we're not sharks or tigers, and the chi field might be magic, but we're only finding that out through interaction with humans, actually. So through the interaction of beautiful Magali sending me that beautiful song today, I was so touched again, just immediately. I had tears in my eyes. I could not believe it, actually, how the chi field and the universe were supporting me, besides Magali supporting me. But it was just, I needed something. I had a need, which is exactly the topic of this today. The 10 fundamental qualities of human nature is all about how we cover our needs so we can be in the state of love because we feel safe, secure, taken care of, supported, loved itself, actually, so we can be in return in the state of love and have the possibility of intercepting from here the mind so that the true self can become happening. And it was just magical. The universe supplied. And if I wouldn't have had an interaction with a human being, I wouldn't have become aware of the magic of the chi field and the magic of the universe. It is like a little proof that we are being given what we need. And it comes in those little things, You might maybe be thinking there, oh, what is she talking about? A song, on and on and on. It's not really the song, right? It is this, well, it's a verification. It's a verification which we can need, which we need and we can use to build trust even more. I've had so many of those with the chi field, but it's just every time something like this happens, it's just really magical that all of this world is true and real, because we live in this world, and especially when it is coming down to social nature and needs beyond the physical level, it has to do so much with living with other humans. Isn't that how it is? Our social life is so determining so many of our unhealthy and healthy patterns. And it certainly determines a lot for us if we can go into the state of love. Of course, the other 5 or 8 parts of the 10 fundamental qualities have also so much to do with that figuring out of what are my needs and what is desires. This is a really interesting topic and deeply, deeply important to understand and work with, because it has been misunderstood quite a bit in the, let's say, the spiritual work of life cultivation, the spiritual world of what we humans work with in order to attain realization and wisdom, which is, yeah, our highest fundamental need. Number 10 in Jansen's pyramid. There is the notion often that, you know, we're not allowed to have money or care about money or material security, that we have to be even poor. Isn't it so? When you look into the spiritual world, no matter which religion, or so often in back in history, there is this interesting assumption that we aren't allowed to want for something, wish for something. I remember one of the first retreats with Janse when he said the first time in a chi healing, now make a wish for yourself. You know, I have studied so many other systems before, and it was always connected with the destruction of self. And which we do too, actually, the false self, but we are allowed to nourish and build our true self and to cherish ourselves, to, you know, to enjoy ourselves, to love ourselves. We are here to become ourselves. We actually, when we work with the pattern of avoiding and hiding, are even needing to take care of ourselves so much as to only do what is good for us for a while, as long as we're working with that pattern to overcome that deep, that strangling sense of insecurity that seems to come from these social structures, and the confusion about, are we allowed to, you know, are we allowed to take, are we allowed to need, are we allowed to want, are we allowed to wish? I don't know about you, go ahead and look into yourself. I just remember this was one of the big revelations for me with learning from Janse and, you know, being allowed to share some life with him, learning from him that, and also Norberto and Dori, you know, talk a lot about this as well. So there, and we are starting to sense it, yeah. And this is why that topic is so important, those 10 fundamental qualities of human nature, because we are learning first about needs and desires is two different things. And needs is not only we allowed to take care of those, it's actually our obligation and our responsibility, which in turn sometimes creates a bit of an issue, because if we happen to have a pattern of fear of responsibility or obligation, then it becomes even more difficult to sort out these two things, because the need often comes with this obligation, responsibility, and the desire is something that makes us feel very comfortable when it's fulfilled. So it's very easy to merge over into desire more and kind of have a blind eye, like blinders, like a horse to needs. And then from there, the pattern, which is very fundamental pattern, one of the 10 fundamental unhealthy patterns of greed, becomes really easily strong and strong and stronger, because the desire gives us something, it fulfills something in us. When we fulfill the desire, we get something, and what we do get is pleasure. And so the pain and pleasure balance is being changed, which this is what the fundamental pattern of greed is all about. Yes, we are trying, if we do know or not know, as human beings, we are trying to cover those needs, the 10 fundamental needs. We are always trying to fulfill them. And then we slip into desire because a little bit of understanding and wisdom is missing, and because pleasure feels so good and pain feels not so good in the false self, isn't understood, and so is put into this polarization of this is a bad thing, I have to get away from pain. And so again, the lines between needs and desires are distorted even more. And so we're being dragged more and more into the false self. And once that's happening, then it's like being in a hamster wheel or a rat race. So this is this continuous trying to get what we want, actually because we're trying to get what we need. Can you see? I know I've said it before, I want to say it again. It is really hugely, hugely important to know about the fundamental needs so that we can put more and more awareness on it and allow ourselves to fulfill them open-heartedly, with love, with self-love and self-respect, and really, really going for it, instead of being stuck in the thinking or perception, or stuck in the belief system that we are supposed to want nothing, that we are supposed to wish for nothing, that we are supposed to have nothing. Because we are, really wanting oneness, unification, peace, and harmony. And we think that peace and harmony, and receiving peace and harmony and unification and integration, we have to miss out on the material things, or those things that we're looking at today, the needs of social structure, and so the needs of that are going beyond the physical level. So maybe we'll look at that for now, for a moment, and I will put up things in written down, but if you have gone into a deeper state, you don't need to open your eyes now and read. It's really more, it's very complex, and I don't want to miss out on anything, so I'm putting it up more or less for me, and you get it in the document anyway. Let's see how this works out. So, the 10 fundamental qualities of human nature are, as I explained last time, dissected or into 5 parts, with always 2 parts belonging sort of into one topic. So we're looking at 2 today. Number 1 is social nature, and number 2 is the needs beyond the instinct. And here we're looking at social nature. So humans are social beings, like I said before, and social nature is fundamental to the human species. And no human being can live completely independent of society or other human beings. I think this is just straightforward. But if you connect with that and if you feel into your heart and connect it with your life, with the understanding of, oh, how often do we say, I don't care what she or he thinks of me or what they feel about me or if they're angry. This is why, because this fundamental need is working on you. And also, this no human being can exist without any relationship with other human beings. Some people had to close their hearts so much that they have to completely withdraw, maybe even live in nature, in the wilderness, which is very difficult, of course, and in this world, I would say sheer impossible, especially if you have to hunt them together. You probably need some materials that not all of those materials you know how to make these days, etc., etc. But for us, living in the world that we have now, we have a very good experience now after COVID, isn't it? For so many people, oh my, after COVID, we're right in it. But it seems that the first wave of lockdown is gone, and many people have found out now how they actually are missing human connection. If they didn't know it before, they certainly do know now. And we also, of course, see the other side, how we are dependent, how really dependent we are, and if we maybe need to look into that a little bit again, sorting out the needs and desires. So, is my need for human connection fulfilled through being external in a non-unified way, being with humans all the time, or how am I with humans? Yeah. And how does our social life look like? Another point is the establishment of manifestation of the role and individual plays that an individual plays in the society, or a place an individual has in society. Also, what role or what place, and also in a social relationship. So here we have all of the patterns coming in. For example, the need for victory, the need for dominance, the competitiveness, the self-centeredness is coming in. All of them, right? Greed, and when we can't have enough, or envy and jealousy. Can you see how this one point sort of every single pattern is involved? Polarization of, I don't want to be part of this group, but I want to be part of that group, or part of this connection, but not part of that connection, etc., etc. and also how we are being seen in this. And if we, dependent of urge to control, can of course very strongly manifest. And then we also have the point of manifestation of serving one's own and other people's interests, which also comes from within this social nature, needs to be covered. This is, so when we look at it this way right now, maybe you have felt the little difference in the G field. As soon as one works with words that are written, it's very easy to lose the connection with the heart. And it feels very dry. So what do we do with that? What I do with it is only what I can share, and you maybe can find your own ways. And if you want to, you're most welcome to share. But what I do with those 2.5 pages, you'll see the document is very short, but I keep reading them over and over, not every day, also not regularly every week, but whenever I feel like that I don't have the information present anymore, that I cannot relate to it anymore, that I can't equate off it anymore, then I repeat reading it. Probably because I don't retain information when it's written so very easily. For me, when I hear and feel and work with it, I can retain it very easily. Reading, not so much. And because it seems so dry, so a little lifeless. But of course, it's also just a form of information, but it's just me. But it's so much. It's so much. And when I'm stuck in a pattern and I'm becoming aware of it, then I go back either with Ming Yuan, so the 9th method, Cha, or in a Ling Yuan, 8th method, which somehow they seem to merge with one another as well, right? Ling Yuan very often to me I'm using that the structure of Ling Yuan even when I'm not sitting down for a practice. So I'm aware this is a pattern active. Now I need to really connect with the needs. Why do I react so unhealthily or feel so unhealthily or think so unhealthy? What is it that I'm lacking? What is the need that is not being covered? That brings me back to, now I understand the desire to defend myself, the desire to project outwards a jealousy, or the desire to be not, wanting someone else to have something. These things are not nice to have inside, right? And certainly we don't want to talk about it, but they're just there in all of us. Those fundamental patterns, those 35 patterns, definitely. And then there's all of these individual ones. So what are we here for? Actually, we are here for covering and fulfilling the needs. We're supposed to be pampered and taken care of by ourselves and by everybody else. And we are supposed to do that for others as well, without losing ourselves. So our needs have to be covered while we cover other needs or help others to fulfill their needs, rather, because we can't really fulfill other one's needs um, in some way. But again, that's language. Yes, when we look at the social structure of the social nature aspects, we are fulfilling other people's needs through simply being there, through simply living, through interacting, you know. So Magali took very good care of me today because I needed something and it just came. Do you know what I mean? So you can see, use it and relate it to yourself and open your heart so interaction can happen, so you can become aware of the chi field and its magic more and more and more. And especially with, the patterns of polarization, overgeneralization, very much, of course, the pattern of unfounded suspicions, fixed expectations, negativity. Here I go again, all the 10. Greed, self centeredness, stubbornness, competitiveness, avoiding and hiding. Can you see how deeply they are ingrained in this need for covering them? How do we cover this needs? Certainly not through closing the heart and missing out on love, loving ourselves and loving others because we are scared of fear, of because our needs haven't been covered by others yet. So then those desires come up. So when you in yourself switch this understanding of why is the desire there and what is the need behind it, you will see this sort of friction or pressure of you're not supposed to, you're not allowed to take care of it, you're not allowed to fulfill it, is going to go away because you have the clarity of this and the very distinct difference of this is the need and this is the desire, that you're covering it all up and trying to cover the lack with the lack of the fulfillment of the need. So let's look at the second aspect, the needs beyond the physical level. Ooh, that's a bit small. How did that happen? Okay, let me see if I can. That's better, it's bigger. So we have both again. So you see, number 2 is needs beyond the physical level. Don't look if you don't want to open your eyes or if you don't want to read, that's fine. To fulfill what is perceived as not enough, to want more or better. So point 1 is the need to be respected and approved by others and oneself. The need to be loved, to be helped, to be supported, to be treated kindly, and to be trusted. The need to feel victorious, successful, and needed. The need for freedom, for fairness, and for justice. And the need for a sense of value and a meaning or purpose. Did you know that you're allowed to be successful? I didn't. I'm finding that out now and also finding out how deep that is working on me, that need. How about the last line? The need for a sense of value and especially a meaning or purpose. Meaning of life and purpose, like the singer in the song today sang, which you haven't heard yet, but you will hopefully after class tomorrow or so. What are we here for? So this is one, isn't it interesting how financial gain seems to diminish those needs so much, especially in social structure. So I find it really interesting that this is part of that package. How Janse packed it up, because it is such a big need of us, and it sort of needs to happen within social structures. And then when someone says or thinks or feels or lives their life in a way that has not only to do with financial gain, there's a lot of question mark on the top of many people surrounding you. So for me, this was always a very big question, which these 2.5 pages alone, which we got in level 2 teachers training, and you're getting now if you didn't have it before, which we got from Janse, was for me like, wow. My avoiding and hiding was so strong, the social pressure that I wasn't really aware of, there was pressure. And it was so deep that I thought I made the pressure on myself, because the masses around me seemed to be so focused on these other things, and they did not fulfill me. And as much as I tried to become like them, I could not, and I could not, and I could not. Maybe, can you see that in yourself, maybe too? I'm pretty sure this is not just me. But I did not have that reassurance. So my high level of insecurity about myself, my not trusting myself, my not being open to myself, my not loving myself, my not respecting myself, I could not even feel gratitude for being myself and being where I am at, which now is very easy because now I understand, okay, to work on consciousness is the way to freedom. And actually, let's call it, makes me feel that I am on the right path. Whereas I never felt I was on the right path, because so many things of what seems to be so normal in social life, I could not give. I wasn't like that. Well, maybe when you're sitting in this class, you probably have experienced a lot of that yourself. And this path in Renshu has given me more and more the understanding that, hey, a hearty human, a human with a heart, a human who talks and communicates about emotions and states of consciousness, and, well, maybe even the essence material of life itself, chi, someone who is involved throughout their day with those topics, is not a useless person, is not a. Can you see how this plays back into the part that we looked before, into what role someone takes in the society? You know, the need for being successful is very deeply connecting to this, the role that we want to take on in society. And what do we want to spread as form of information, for example? What quality of information or what type of information do we want to take part in? What can we unify with? This often shows just a level of consciousness that we are at in life development. And that level of consciousness is also one reason for why social nature and the needs of social nature are not as easily covered, because we are all on so different levels. So we are more attracted to what we are already conscious of. So when someone is very conscious of being hungry and starving and not having food, this type of person will right now be very concerned with making enough money to buy food or making food. And maybe even so only. And when we are a lot of time working with that, or when we are spending a lot of time, the neurological pathways, aka the patterns of the consciousness, are constantly active and activated and worked like a muscle. And eventually we might not get out of that habit. We will become so used to focusing on that only. So we kind of miss out of the other ones. So while we grow up, we might still feel very connected to the other parts like wisdom and, you know, the spiritual life and the aspiration for the better. But if we are stuck in survival, and even if we once get out of it, but we've been there for a while, then it's very difficult to get out of that stuckness, of that habitual way of only taking care of, let's say, the material base of food and a shelter. And when the shelter is there, but we have that pattern of not feeling safe and secure and not having enough, because we have developed this unhealthy pattern once because the need was not fulfilled, then we might need a house with 23 rooms. Also, we only can be in one room at a time, because the body can only be in one room at a time. You can't be in two rooms, no? So why would someone need a big house with 23 rooms? Of course, if you're 23 people living in the house, then you might need one where you gather, like a living space, and where you cook, and one where you can spend some time with yourself. But if you're alone or in two persons, see, can you see? That's an interesting thought. I don't want to judge anybody, but I'm working on understanding people and trying to get out of the polarization over generalization, of understanding why. I want to understand why people get stuck in needing a big car and a big house only. Yeah. And for me, this was the way to finding myself, my way to self-love more, because then I could accept myself more. And I don't need to have these things to be a valuable member of society, because that's what those social nature needs are actually about. We want to be a valuable Yeah, we want to have a sense of value and purpose. So again, you are allowed to cover those needs, and actually it's more than that. You should be. This is not the pattern of expectation. This comes from the following the laws of the universe sense of should be. It's an obligation and your and your responsibility. You're allowed to wanting to have a value in your society, in your surrounding, in your social surrounding. Very interesting also, today in the morning, I wasn't even so very clear. I was still going forth and back on what to do today in web class. But in the morning, I stumbled over a documentary which is very new on Netflix. It's called, morning, around lunch actually. It's called Our Social Dilemma, or The Social Dilemma. It is very interesting. It also is very, let's say, invigorating your patterns. It did mine. It really activated quite a lot of necessary thought processes afterwards to, pardon me, to stay in. Trust and not fall into unfounded suspicions about the future. But it was very interesting because it's all about the way social life happens these days and what we call social media. And super interesting because people high up in those huge companies are speaking out about their concerns and about, do you know that we don't let our kids at all onto these platforms? They are building them. One of them was the co-founder and co-inventor of the like button, etc., etc. You can watch it or not, but it fits very interesting. And then I thought, after watching it, I thought, oh, okay. So my sense of working with this topic today is probably right on. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten such a documentary, because I was looking for something else and this was happening. So how much is the topic of freedom determining our lives? So this is actually literally something that works a lot on me as well, because now through Renjeu, I was allowed to find out we feel free when we're unified, isn't it? When we're deeply relaxed and deeply unified, when the body is dissolved, or even not if you don't experience that yet, but still, when this deep sense of calmness is setting in, that's when we feel free. And only then. I wonder, have you ever demonstrated? I haven't demonstrated, but they don't feel very free to me, I have to tell you. And I know that, for example, in my life, with the sense of justice, for example, when I felt unjustly treated by a man in my life, for example, being beaten or strangled or all the things that I've experienced, I never felt free fighting back, so to speak, standing up for myself. I don't know if if you haven't been in that situation, wonderful for you. Maybe not so wonderful because it's very powerful for one to help you move forward. Um, I'm almost happy I was beaten up nowadays. Took me a lot of time to get there, but it's like um, the sense of freedom, that it's the need to feel free. So just know that you're allowed to set yourself free, which this was one of the songs I almost picked today. It was, Free Your Soul from said artist, the funky blues funk person, not everybody's cup of tea. Um, Very fast song also, so that was a bit of a hindrance, a bit of an obstacle for the web class. Very funky. Free your soul. You're allowed to free yourself. You're allowed, you don't have to be constantly busy with going to birthday parties, going to restaurants, living the social life that seems to be normal right now. You don't have to be always available on your email or your telephone. You do not have to be. When you when you are in your heart with love and you are very clear on the intention to wanting to be there for others when they need you, you will be. You will be. My phone is is off so often. Yeah. But the people who need to reach me, it's funny. I sometimes turn on the phone, and in that moment, half an hour before someone texted me because someone is in need. Email is always easier for for me because I receive that on the iPad. The phone is off and off because, well, when what do, you practice, right? What you know silence is so much more wonderful when you practice. And simply the need for not being available at all times, you are allowed to give that to you. Yes, that is true freedom. Do you know that you don't have to open the door when it rings? Do you know that you don't have to take the telephone? I'm sure you know all these things. Those are really basic. But I do know that I had to work on these things when I was growing up. That there was at some places I was hiding in my room because I didn't want to open the door, and I thought, hey, don't you realize you don't have to open the door when you are doing something, but that I'm happy to open the door when it fits also into my state of being right now. It's the same with responding to humans. Um, which is where it becomes very complex, right? Because when the other one needs something right now and you cannot give anything right now, that's when the false self has a great time to come in both humans and come up with a lot of explanations and reasons and accusations and blaming. So a strong heart, strong love is needed there. Well, strong Wu Xin, but today love is a bit our topic as well, since love is the kryptonite. A strong sense of self-love and also a strong sense of compassion to sort out your difference between, is it a need of mine to be alone right now, or is it a desire because I'm stuck in a pattern and I am maybe stuck in a pattern of stubbornness. No, I don't want to communicate right now. That's not covering your needs. That's the desire to be stubborn. Yeah. Can you see the difference? I'm sure you can. Um, Okay. Well, like I said, you're receiving the document today. Read it through when you're not in such a deep unified state right now again, or when you feel you will see that the web class hopefully triggers a few situations for you this week, or whenever you're watching it, for becoming aware in observing your own life, your inner life, and your interaction with the external in the social world. And maybe you come across something that you have never been able to figure out, or that always intrigued you but is sort of like stunning you, but you don't have answers for it yet, or you don't quite know how to relate to it in a healthy way. You can feel that you're not in your heart, that you're not happy, that you're not fulfilled, that you don't feel, or you can feel that through maybe some addictions being very strong, active around that topic or that person or that group. Afterwards, you feel very drained, or you just simply don't want to go there. And maybe you don't need to go there, or maybe you should be going there for the sake of your own destiny. But you know, but you're stuck in resistance and so on. So go ahead, observe, and if you need any support, um, you know, write an email and we'll take care of it in the next or whenever you write the email class. And or you can just use Ling Yuan and Tong Yuan, the 7th and 8th method, or Ming Yuan. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what aspect. You want to know about. What aspect you want to know about of the Ling Yuan? Is it some of the causes that you don't yet see, or is it some of the formation of how the pattern was created that you can't see yet? Or is it, don't you see why you're still holding on to the pattern? What is your validation? Why you're giving it so much credit that it still is allowed to enslave you so much, to rule you so much? Or is it that you're lacking some replacement information? Or maybe you sense something is not following the laws of the universe there, but you cannot see the negative effects. You can't observe them. Um, let me know. Maybe I can help. We all together will help, basically, which is not scary. Um, it actually is wonderful to open up to people and have other people hear their problems. You will be overwhelmed by love and compassion, and you will be probably surprised in this world how many, probably all, feel the same way you do very often, and how incredibly supportive and helpful it is to voice out our problems and not how it's great to voice out when we feel good too. So I actually, well, I've been talking quite a lot now, which was a bit unexpected on my behalf. I figured I was just gonna put out the information. It is pretty straightforward. And I mean, Janses put it in such a clear way. When you read it or when you hear it, your consciousness will immediately go into stories of your life. It will immediately relate to situations of your life. I am very sure of it. The chi field is getting very saturated with chi by now. Um, it also is the moment where the chi field becomes so strong that the avoiding and hiding is setting in, and this could be a sense of tiredness or not really understanding the words anymore that I'm saying, which is actually not such a negative thing, because that means that your other parts of you are ready to take over. And so we're going to do that now. We're going to do uh, some work with chi, and um, I don't know yet what we're doing. We'll see that. That will come now as soon as we are relaxing deeper all together and unifying and shifting the awareness a little bit on chi and the chi field of the heart and Shen Yi. Okay, if you can, get into a good position for chi to flow well, which would be maybe a bit upright. Lifting from Bai Hui, looking straight forward. Gently draw your vision back. Look into the center of your head. Relax and simply become one with the chi field. Relax. Allow yourself to fulfill your need to be free through unification. Allow yourself the awareness of being chi, of being chi field, of being information, and of being one with the light of the wisdom of the universe. Allow yourself to fulfill the need of being supported and helped by the universe, by all the other humans participating right now or all around in the world, participating either in this web class or in practice anywhere in the world, practicing any method of Yuan Gong right now, practicing awareness, practicing unconditional love, practicing transforming unhealthy patterns through replacement information, and the courage to face these unhealthy patterns. And simply allow the support of the chi field. Allow your surrender of the false self of the mind. Surrender it now to your need for wisdom and the beauty of unification. More and more relaxed, simply for sitting and feeling chi streaming in. Chi field is very strong. It's seeping in, carrying you deeper and deeper into the universe inside yourself. Awareness inside your body, the emptiness and spaciousness within. Out, becoming one with the universe. Draw the awareness back to your chi-filled body in the center of the universal Yuan Chi, calm and peaceful. Go into your heart and open to the universe with reverence and gongqing. And then come back to your heart and let your heart be nourished with compassion and love. By the bright universe. You feel relaxed. You feel free. All is well. And chi and consciousness are flowing harmoniously and smoothly. Allow the information of Tong Yuan about love, the third stage of love to flow into your heart. From this moment on, everything you do in this practice will be from your heart. Utmost beauty, goodness, and wisdom of your true nature are shining in your heart. You are going to follow the call of your true nature with an open heart. Begin to communicate freely with your own heart. It is a heart-to-heart conversation between you and yourself, and you and everything beyond. Heaven, earth, and humans are all teachers with infinite wisdom. I open my Shinmen to trust and love them unconditionally. With gratitude in my heart, I receive the bright light of their love and wisdom, and I unify with it. My Shen, Yi, and Shin are fully aligned with the light of Tao. With Gongqing, realization and wisdom are arising. I am one with the light of the wisdom of the universe. Pay attention to the changes inside your heart. Feel every subtle change there. Feel the indescribable vitality and creativity there. Feel what it is to be totally unified with everything. Tell yourself, I am ready. I am ready to welcome a different me every day. Everything is changing from moment to moment. I believe my inner world can be revitalized and all the darkness can be dispelled if my heart so desires. My heart can become kinder and cleaner, more harmonious and beautiful, and brighter and wiser. I am ready to look into my heart for trust, openness, love, gratitude, and Gongqing, the 5 most important qualities for a human heart. I am ready to get to know myself, my heart, and I am willing to continue to cultivate these qualities and my Xinling. I am determined to love and take good care of my Xinling and my life and everything beyond. I know what I am doing, and a call from my heart to fulfill my needs is becoming louder and clearer. I am ready. I am so ready because love has been growing in your heart. This is the stage of working with love in the every present moment and enjoying it. You have made good progress in building your Xinling, your heart consciousness. Is it easier to love now? Have you noticed any positive changes in your life? What are they? Have you felt the happiness and contentment love brings to you? You are the embodiment of love, truth, courage, goodness, beauty, and peace. Again, you are the embodiment of love, truth, courage, goodness, beauty, and peace. You are health, happiness, and well-being. Visualize people's smiles, genuine, friendly smiles. Visualize the world full of beautiful light. Now look into your heart. This is where all changes originate. Love these changes. You are your own inspiration. Feel it in your heart, in your body. Feel the confidence inside, knowing your heart will continue to grow. Love will continue to grow. Look deep into your heart. Isn't it a miracle that you can get to nurture your heart this way, on this special day, at this particular moment? You are with your heart and enjoying feeling the love inside. Every moment is an opportunity for your heart to grow, and your heart is growing in every moment. You are with your heart in this very moment and in every moment. You can only really live in the now, in the present moment. Can you see any reason to dwell in the past? Can you see any reason to worry about the future? Go into your heart and see yourself do everything in a positive way, because it is the only way to live in the present moment. Can you see now that the growth of your Xin Ling depends on what you do in every present moment? Can you see how much power you have in every present moment to choose and to make decisions? Can you see that you can always access the infinite power and wisdom of the universe for support? Can you see how you can make every moment of your life special and meaningful? Be aware, discontent, apathy, indifference, or hatred can arise when love is in hiding. Be aware so you are able to notice them when they show up. They are not your enemies, though. They are just signs telling you love needs to be found. Let love come back out of its hiding, and these signs will naturally disappear. You don't need to fight them. Just let love come back to the present, to the moment you are in. Let love follow you wherever you go. Put your heart into each and every place you go. And when ill feelings arise, check if your love is still there. If it has slipped away, invite it to come back. Look deep into your heart. It eagerly wants to love unconditionally. Imagine love has become a natural state of your heart, an integral part of your being. Unconditional love is what your heart truly desires, the ultimate destination it wants to reach. Be fully aware. That's how you come to know every activity in your heart and in your consciousness. That's how you will recognize whether love is still there. Your heart knows a lot. Let its wisdom continue to guide you. Go deep into your heart. Your heart is completely one with your Shen. Your heart is completely one with your Qi. Your heart is completely one with your body. Feel the love and harmony inside your whole being. Expand your love out to the universe. Feel the pure love in your heart and the great love of the universe. You are now completely one with the great love of the universe. Settle into this state of love. Enjoy its wonder and beauty. Breathe into your heart. Don't worry about where it is everywhere. Simply breathe in love. Breathe in love from the universe, from yourself, from your surroundings. Know that it is strengthening your body, your Qi field, all its Qi and cells, your Xin Ling and your Shen Yi. There is no need to adjust your breathing, just observe. And play with the knowing that you inhale and exhale love. You're receiving love for the inhale, and you're giving love with your exhale. Observe where your inhale starts and ends. Observe where your exhale begins and finishes. Observe what happens between inhale and exhale, and observe what happens between exhale and inhale. Chi and love are entering and exiting and gathering and transforming you and the universe. Now let's use this deep state for a free flow Ling Yuan. Your heart is asking the questions. I will act as your heart. And as you've been observing your breath, just observe the information coming up inside you. Do I recognize the need for love within my social structure, my social surroundings, my role in my social surroundings? Do I recognize my need for fulfilling that need? Will I allow it to myself more? Do I see the formation of my reason to close my heart to love, surrounding my social needs? When did those reasons form? And why am I still holding on to it? Do I see the causes? What are the causes for depriving myself of love? What are the possible negative effects of me allowing myself depraving of love, of me not allowing love? What is so difficult in interacting with other humans from a loving point of view on my behalf? Am I willing to love myself more? Am I willing to allow myself to cover my needs? And in extension, to cover the needs of others if I am in that position, while fulfilling my needs. Am I willing to be my truly loving self, even in society, no matter how society is at? Am I allowing my true self? Am I allowing to be my truly loving self? I accept and confirm with trust to be my truly loving self. I trust my decision to see clearly that I am allowed to be unified and calm and relaxed and loving. I am wide open to be my truly loving self, especially around others. I love these new changes. I love fulfilling my needs. I love the universe for loving me so much that I am allowed to fulfill my needs. And I confirm the state of love with gratitude for being allowed to be brave in social structures. I'm grateful for being where I'm at and to see the need for more love and to be pioneering, to be a loving human being who follows the laws of the universe. I am grateful for my need to learn, my need to grow, my need to be aware and conscious. And I am grateful I'm allowed to cover those needs, to fulfill those needs. And I even respect my obligation to do so. I am in awe about being allowed to do so, having to do so for my freedom, and an extension for the freedom of all humans. Because when I am free, everyone will become a bit freer. Because I can influence them in a non-controlling way, simply for being loving and in a state of Gongqing and love. Now observe your inner way of being. In this unified state, you are calm and you are free. Expand out with your consciousness. And if you want, arms draw chi back to the heart. And open out, drawing chi back to the whole body and lower dantian. All is healthy, well, and okay. Nourishing chi quietly. And if you like, you can do the head and face. And then gently open your eyes. Thank you very much. Yuan Tong Ling Ming.